It's gonna take more than fancy talk to keep me up all night crawling around these bushes. More fancy talk.
All right, everybody, we're back. Special Sunday night episode. Fancy talk. Get this thumbnail off here so you can see us. Brand new look. Same old shitty guys hosting this thing. How's everybody doing tonight? Jake.
Yeah.
Mr. You're like the new YouTube video DJ, counting down each year, top 10, 20,
Yeah.
30. Having
Been
pretty
fun.
good success with that. You're going through the 80s.
I'm going to go through the 80s and through the 90s, and we'll see after the 90s is over. Ooh, I just see the overlay pop up. I like it, man. I like the overlay.
You like that?
I don't like either of the two guys that are bookending you, but the we look like shit, but the overlay looks good.
Well,
I got bumped from the middle.
No, you're on the right-hand side of the screen. I'm on the left-hand side of the screen, and Bud, the Eagle Maniac, puts himself right in the center.
well, I figure I put you have Halloween ends. One side likes it, other side hates it, and Bud's in the middle. That's what I was thinking.
That's fair.
We're talking wrestling tonight.
I know. And hey, and I didn't bring it up. I just want I want everybody in the chat to know that I did not say a fucking word about it. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna go all the way through the 90s and see where it ends up. But yeah, it's been gaining some steam on my channel as far as views and stuff. People seem to like it. So yeah, I'm gonna continue that. That's kind of what I wanted to do with my channel anyway. Or one of the things I wanted to do with my channel when I started was to talk about 80s stuff, movies, music, and I'm finally getting around to doing that now that we're post Halloween movies. So yeah.
All right. Well, everybody go to Jake's channel afterwards and check all those out. I think you're up to 87, so it's really good stuff. Nick Pusch, how's your bracket doing? How's your March Madness bracket doing?
I think Thursday at like 1 p.m. Eastern time. Something like that. Yeah, it's terrible, man. Worst year I've ever had.
Yeah, I started out 0 for 3 myself on the opening, but it looks a little bit better now. I still have a couple teams that are in my final four that are still available, but
I'll just say one thing, that there's certain teams that I don't know what the fuck it is, but certain teams don't play well in the tournament and certain teams do. I'll give you two teams that never play well in the tournament, and I'm not just saying this because they lost, because I can point to you. There was a year, and I forgot who Purdue played, but Purdue was a number 1 seed, and this was probably about 20 years ago, and I forgot who the team is that they played. It might have been Holy Cross, but they came down to like it came down to the last shot, and they won by a point, Purdue. So Purdue is a terrible tournament team, and the other team that's terrible is Virginia. Virginia fucking sucks in the tournament. So
Purdue, I think they've been upset in like 3 tournaments straight. So like in
I'm just saying, as a one, they almost lost as a 1 seed. Years back, but and then there's certain teams, Princeton. I mean, I'm not going to say anybody should have predicted them to go to the Sweet 16, but they are always a tough team in the first round. So, when you look at these games, I don't know how you guys do it. When I look at these games, I look at the point spreads, and that's how I make my picks, because the point spreads will tell you how close a game could be or should be or won't be, and not to get too far into the gambling weeds, but
I picked Houston to win it all, and I think they punched their ticket to the Sweet 16 today, or was it yesterday maybe? But I'm still in pretty good shape. I'm in pretty good shape. I think I'm gonna win the Fancy Talk bracket challenge. So.
Well, that's only because I didn't fill my bracket out.
Well, I mean, you lose by default.
And because I picked Arizona, so.
Yeah, God, that was brutal. Brutal. 1 seed. They were a 1 seed, I think, weren't they? Or were they a 2?
They were 2. They were 2.
But still, I mean, I had them going pretty far. But yeah. So let's go to the chat. Blake checking in. He's watching us. He's on vacation. Where are you on vacation at, Blake?
Yeah, Blake's posting all sorts of pictures of him on vacation.
Yeah, and he's growing his facial hair back. I
Yeah,
noticed, and
yeah.
he was, if you go check out All the Good Names Are Taken podcast.
Hey, you know what? I want to say one thing to
No
Blake.
shave. He was gonna go no shave all year, and looks like
I want to say one thing to Blake,
forget
and he
it.
can pass this along to Ronnie. Okay, when I did the '87 the year, I did a couple of songs from the Over the Top soundtrack, and I think Ronnie kind of looks like the guy, Bull Hurley.
A little bit,
Right?
bit.
Does he? Tell Ronnie he looks like him.
Yeah, I think Ronnie's a little bit better looking. I mean, I'll give him that. But anyway, I don't see Ronnie in here yet.
Can you get Ronnie on the next live stream to say you ain't got a prayer in Vegas?
Well, maybe. All right, Alley Girl. Happy Sunday, all. James Morant, he's ready for this list. Lavelle Jackson, welcome to the chat. Josh, the horror guy. He says Maryland's a trash state. I think Maryland lost yesterday. Blake says he doesn't speak to Ronnie outside the show. I can see that. So,
I could see that.
All right. So before we get into the top 10 professional wrestlers, I think did I spell professional right on this fucking thing? I'm looking at the professional. This looks wrong. I don't know why.
It does look wrong, but I think it's right.
It looks wrong.
There's Ronnie. Right. He'd rather say you ain't shit.
You ain't shit. Blake can be the guy that eats the cigar. The dude that drinks the castor oil.
I need to watch that again.
It is wrong. Professional is wrong. Lavelle Jackson got it right.
Damn it, bud.
Good God.
You had a fucking great overlay, and for somebody who busts my balls about any little fucking mistake that I made, damn it, bud.
Professional wrestlers.
Now I have to find it in here so I can change it.
It's all good, man. You can change it in OBS, or you could do it on the fly.
Professional.
You can do it on the fly, man. No problem.
Look what I've done.
People won't judge you. I will, but people won't.
It's very noticeable now.
I know. I'm changing.
You shouldn't have said anything, bud, and people wouldn't have noticed. I'll go back to the chat and see who else is in here. James Morant, you said James is in here. Blake and Ronnie are in here. Lavelle Jackson's in here. What's up, Lavelle? And
Ronnie looks like Dom DeLuise. I feel bad about that. Professional. I got it.
There you go, bud. See here, look at this. Prof wrestler. Just go prof. Everybody knows. Prof. Just go pro wrestlers.
So before we get into the pro wrestlers, Scream 6. You guys done talking about that?
I haven't really talked about it on my channel like you guys, but.
So it looks like it's probably going to cross Scream 5 in box office.
There's been a few videos.
Yeah. But, other than that, really don't have much to say. I want to talk a little bit about Scream 7. Now, there's been a little bit of, ambiguous that someone announced that they were greenlit Scream 7 and they were going to film in October.
Mm-hmm.
The filmmakers of Scream 5 and 6, they don't really know what's going on with that. So I've noticed a lot of people have put out some ideas. I've seen, Ghostface in the snow. Everybody wants to see their favorite horror villains killing in the snow. I know they were going to make a Friday the 13th movie that was kind of set in. Didn't they make a fan film?
You know what?
Had a snow setting.
Yeah, it did. Never hike alone or never hike in the snow or something like that. But I'll tell you what, man. I really honestly, look, they're going to make Scream 7, but you know what? Mm-hmm. They are really towing a line that, I made this point. I think Scream 6 is the fitting conclusion to the whole thing. If they never made another Scream movie, you sent Nev off with a nice by the dialogue used in that movie. You sent her off in a nice way. You can end it there. They're not going to, but I think it was James Morant who asked me on Twitter if I thought they should have stopped making Halloween movies after Halloween 2. And my response to him is that, because look, I'll go see any Halloween movie in the theater, even Halloween Ends. I'll go see it. as good or bad as they might be, I'll always go see it because I love the character and I love the franchise. However, story-wise, Halloween never needed a sequel. Halloween 2 is a really good conclusion to the story of the character. But when you start making movies a la Halloween 4 was made for money and money alone. That's it. It's the only reason it was made. It was not made for any kind of story purposes at all. And when you start making movies for money purposes and no story, that's when you start getting Halloween 5, Halloween 6, Halloween H2O. It's and the problem is once the studio, I get it from a business standpoint, they want to make money, so they're going to use these IPs and they're going to strike while the iron's hot. I get it, but the more and more movies you make, so Scream is towing the line where they're going to start making these movies, and pretty soon we're going to say, you know what, that was a shitty movie, that was really shitty. So that's my 2 cents on it.
I have an arrow over your face. I'm sorry, Jake. My cursor.
No,
My
Lester's
cursor
right.
can-
You know what sucks is Scream had it. All these other franchises, went to shit, and Scream had it. You were saying, look at Scream. They did 3 movies and then 4 movies. They had it where they were all, and they for the most part still are, solid. But to answer James' question, am I answering that? If my last name is Akkad, you're damn right. I want to make. They should have kept making Halloween movies. But as a fan of the franchise, it's like seeing your hero, finding out your hero quirked is bad or something like that.
Well,
so
you know what? No,
it's
Nick,
unfortunate.
That's a good point. You know what it's like? I'll tell you what it's like. It's like a quarterback hanging on 1 or 2 years too long, where you never want to see that quarterback have that kind of, like Brett Favre. Brett Favre, his last year with the Vikings was absolutely horrible, and you don't want to see a great player like that have a year like that. So the thing of it is this is how I look at it. When I watch the Halloween movies and I put them on, I watch Halloween 1, I watch Halloween 2. If I'm in the mood, I'll put 4 on. Other than that, after that, if I'm looking to put a Halloween movie on after part 4, I hate to say it, it's either going to be Halloween 3 or Halloween 6. I mean, and after that, you know what? I don't really watch them after that. I don't watch H2O. I don't watch Resurrection. I don't watch either one of Rob Zombie's movies. I won't watch any of these 3 movies. I mean, I might watch Kills because I like it as far as being a Michael Myers movie. But, Friday the 13th is the same thing. Like, look at the Friday the 13th franchise, to get off of Halloween and point the microscope at somebody else. Friday the 13th, the first one's good, the second one's good, the third one and fourth one are even good. But you start making 10, 12, 13 movies in a franchise, and you're going to run into this shit. Yeah. So that's why I say people that are so hard on these guys for the story and the realism of Scream 6. I mean, what the fuck did you expect? It's not trying to win an Oscar movie. It's a slasher film. It's just trying to give you a good time, keep you entertained, and so from that standpoint, and I'm not the biggest Scream fan, from that standpoint, I thought that movie was fine. Look, should the 3 of those, should they all 3 have died? Yes. But as we were talking in the chat the other day, Michael Myers and Dr. Loomis are dead at the end of Halloween 2. Dead. They're not alive. They're not alive in John Carpenter's eyes. They're not alive in Deborah Hill's eyes. They're dead. So somebody says, well, Michael's different. Michael was never meant to withstand an explosion like that. When they talk about the supernatural aspect of Michael Myers, what they're talking about is he's here, he's there, he's his movements, he's got a supernatural aspect to him. It doesn't mean he's got full-on immunity to withstand, explosions, and then he's just Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger, and that's not what Michael is supposed to be. So I just think that, just to kind of put a fine bow on it, if you're going to put Scream 6 under a microscope as far as realism, well, then you got to put Halloween under that same microscope.
All right, well,
that's the way I feel about it. I don't know how the chat feels about it.
They are frothing at the mouth to talk about some wrestling.
Well, we can get to the wrestling.
Nick,
there's not a lot of movie news anyway.
Nick, if you feel like you need to pop out and then pop back in on your phone, if you want to do that, you should come. Since you came in third.
Am I freezing?
No, you're not freezing.
Am I freezing?
Yeah. No, you look fine. Looks fine to me.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Sounds
whoa, whoa,
fine.
whoa, 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 whoa. His feed is
So
fine. Let's cut
Yeah.
the shit here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, okay. Now I think we're good. You and Blaster were both frozen on Zoom for 5 straight minutes.
Really?
On my computer.
Nothing's
Yeah.
frozen on my end. I don't know what happened.
Weird. I know. I'm looking at both my screens, the Zoom screen and the actual YouTube, and YouTube's fine. So let's not
All right.
mess with it.
All right, let's get into the
I
wrestling
think
stuff.
Lavelle has a good point. That was a hell of a takedown. I got to give him points on that.
So the reason I wanted to do the wrestling, we're like 2 weeks away from WrestleMania.
Yeah. I've been to a WrestleMania. Has anybody been to a WrestleMania?
I have. I went to WrestleMania 32 in Dallas, Texas.
Nice. Push, have you been to a WrestleMania?
I've been to some pay-per-view events, but no WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So
I went to WrestleMania 11.
Nick, how long have you been are you a fan of wrestling today? Like, do you watch WWE, pop in every now and then?
I haven't watched wrestling since the Attitude Era. Yeah, I haven't watched it since the Attitude Era, so probably early 2000s. Basically, I followed it in the early 90s when I was really young, and then not again until the late 90s, early 2000s, and that's it. So
yeah, I'd say I stopped watching it around 1995, right before the Attitude Era. When I watched it, I started watching in like '84 when Hogan rose to prominence, and then I stopped watching like early 90s, 92, 90, somewhere in there.
Yeah. So I've been a wrestling fan since probably WrestleMania 2. Follow it pretty closely. WWE over the last 5 or I know it's doing good now. It's improved now that Vince McMahon is, I guess, not running the creative. But prior to his, when he left, WWE was really bad. I rarely tuned in. Probably I tune in every now and then, but ever since the last 5 or 6 months or so, it's been pretty good. I watch Raw a lot more regularly.
You know what I think? I think, at least from my perspective, is that it's all changed. Like when I was watching wrestling, when I grew up watching wrestling, it was built on characters. It was built on personalities. These guys, some guys were built and buff and ripped and stuff like that, but they weren't. Some guys weren't. And there's a couple guys on my list that weren't ripped as far as muscles, but they were great characters. And I feel like today they don't have great characters. They're pretty much like stuntmen. These guys are flying off and flipping into tables and doing shit.
You can't, I think that, yeah, but I think also it's you can't. Everyone's offended by fucking everything nowadays. You can't do the characters they used to do.
Yeah,
it kind of hamstrings them a little bit.
I just think it hurts. I think it hurts more than anything. But that's why I can't get into it today. I don't know. I don't watch wrestling. I haven't watched it in probably since the mid.
Well, yeah, like what's John Cena's character?
He's
just
he's kind of like yeah, he is.
I mean, here's the thing. There's some guys on this list.
Semi-retired though.
There's some guys on my list that are not great wrestlers, and I'm going to make that point when I bring them up. But they are great characters, and that's why they're on this list. So.
All right, so I'm going to have to get on with Ronnie and Blake one of these days, have them on my channel or go on their channel and really talk about wrestling, because I have a feeling they're just as big of wrestling fans as I am. I don't know if they watch AEW or not, but
they're not going to allow you to wear a hat on their channel. They're going to want you to do your hair and look nice, all right?
That's fine. That's fine. We can do that.
Is there a dress code on their channel?
There is for Bud.
Is there a certain length my beard needs to be before I can be on? Perhaps.
I don't
okay.
Right, who's ready to roll here?
All right,
like the chat's ready. The chat's ready to go.
Let's do it. Everybody, I thought I saw some number 10s already coming in.
I did see some number 10s early, but everybody everybody get your number 10s in now. We're gonna start. Everybody get your number 10s in. Number 10 pro wrestler of all time, and then we'll just Bud, it's your channel. You call out the order.
Nick, why don't you go ahead and go first? Kick us off.
Sure. For me, and keep in mind, like I said, I'm probably like the least wrestling fan of the group here. So a lot of this is just kind of like Blaster was saying, like it's going based on my memory of when I was a fan and characters that I really liked. So my number 10 is I don't know if he's obscure, but my number 10 is Ken Shamrock. I don't know if you guys remember that guy.
Of
Yeah, I do.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I do.
I loved his character when he came to the WWE.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
a UFC
At the
guy, and then
time.
he was
Yep.
a UFC guy, and then he came to the WWE. He was like the
Yeah.
first one. I think he was actually the first UFC
He
guy
was,
that
and he
came.
had like
Yeah.
the ankle lock, I think was his
Yep.
finishing move to get people to tap out. So I just enjoyed when he came, and he had a good rivalry with I think Steve Blackman for a while. So yeah, I enjoyed him. So I had to have him on my list because I was a big fan when he came on.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Should I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So you know what's funny is that to my left is my television, and right now it's so funny that I'm going to bring this guy up, and they're doing an A&E biography on him, and that is Roddy Piper. Piper was again a great character. Piper's Pit, which was he used to run was the interview segment where he'd have wrestlers on and stuff like that, was classic. He's just a great heel. He had a pretty good run as a good guy too. I think they tried to turn him good in the late 80s or early 90s. But but the famous kilt that he used to wear to the ring, and he had that he had a couple good matches in WrestleMania. He won the Intercontinental title, I think, at WrestleMania 8, and he had that infamous match in WrestleMania 2, the boxing match with
I think
Mr.
he
T.
lost it to Bret Hart at WrestleMania.
Oh, he lost it. All right,
Yeah.
he won it. Did he win it at the pay-per-view? He won it before.
Yeah, he won it like a couple months or so before.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
that's right. Bret Hart beat him at WrestleMania 8. Okay,
That's
that's right. Okay, but yeah, Roddy Piper's he's I think he's got to be on the list. So I put him at
fight
number
with
10.
Keith David too.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah.
He had a good fight with Keith David. That alley fight that they went on for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then Piper that's the other thing. He's a crossover into the movies. Yeah. So
Well,
so
Lavelle Jackson has already posted his number 1, and it's of course Corey Cunningham.
I said that Corey had a great takedown, man. I mean,
Yeah.
Rowan Campbell
Yeah.
must have been a wrestler.
Yeah. Well, fuck, I must have missed that. Sorry, man. All right, my number 10. Jake, you and I think alike. Roddy Piper, man.
But I don't think we've ever had the same. I don't think we've ever had one the same.
Yeah. So Roddy Piper is my number 10. The guy is he's one of the best bad guys ever. And he's also, whenever he wants to be the good guy, the baby face or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
He's good at that too. So I think
Yeah.
He's an all-timer for me.
And they're showing him right now. Right now, he's kicking the crap out of somebody. It's so funny
Yeah.
that this is on right now. We're talking about it, but yeah, he is.
Yeah. So Roddy Piper. So I'll go ahead and do the 10s first.
Okay.
I think Ronnie and Blake are kind of changing theirs around. I think.
That's all right.
Let's see here.
Yeah, I'm trying to make this screen bigger because.
Okay, Ronnie's number 10. Wait a minute. Did he change his?
No, I think he just said it twice, probably because he was
Number 10, Nick.
into it.
All right, number 10 for Ronnie is Kurt Angle. He's a good wrestler.
Yeah, love Kurt Angle's entrance song.
The guy won an Olympic gold medal on a broken freaking neck.
I love
Right.
that entrance song.
96. Yeah, for real. Oh God, they've got me so confused here.
I think Blake's next.
Yeah, you can't do a blackface anymore like Piper at WrestleMania 6. That's right. He did. Do
Oh
that.
yeah, no, that's a no.
Blake, he has updated his number 10 to Bill Goldberg. You can't argue the success that he had in 97, 99. He also ended Bret the Hitman Hart's career, if I recall.
Yes, he did.
But
yes, he did. Vicious kick. That was like, oof.
Let's go here. Josh the Horde. Oh, sorry. Alley Girl. Kamala, the Ugandan giant.
That's Kamala.
Kamala? Is it Kamala?
Kamala. Yeah, like the vice president.
Kamala.
Yeah, I think that's who the vice president was named after.
Right. Kamala. Oh, God. Fuck. Josh the Horror Guy. Triple H. Hunter Hearst Helms. I'm not a big fan of Triple H.
Triple H.
But I think that's all we have. Oh, I think James Morant put his earlier.
He did? James,
Yeah.
did you pop it back in there?
James Morant, he also has a Kurt Angle at number 10.
Yeah, Lavelle's right. Brett is still very salty about Goldberg kicking him
Yeah.
in the head. That's
I mean,
true. Because if you watch the Wrestling with Shadows documentary about Bret Hart, he brings it up basically. Yeah.
and wait a minute, Derek Dulcie. I didn't see his. I'm looking back here. All right,
We only have 2.
that was it.
All right, everybody, get your number 9s in. Get your number 9s in, and we'll.
Yeah, the reason I didn't put Bret the Hitman Hart is because he went to WCW and didn't do shit. So to me, that tarnishes his legacy more than, like greatly. So, all right,
so
number 9s.
Number 9s, Nick Pusch.
Get
What do
your
you got?
9s in there.
Here's where I lose everybody. But I'll explain. All right. My number 9 is I know. My number 9
Doink the
is
Clown.
Shane. No, Shane McMahon.
Dude, I respect that actually. I liked Shane McMahon when he wrestled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he went through the Spanish announcers table a couple times. He was European champion. I loved his rivalry he had with, I think it was Test.
Yeah.
Dude, when
Test
he
was
fell off
dating
that
Stephanie.
fucking Titantron, I don't know what event that was
Yeah.
at. He fell like 40 feet to the fucking off the Titantron onto a table. It was like unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, I just loved the whole story. The McMahon family got involved a little more with the actual wrestling and stuff like that. That whole storyline, and then the corporation and all that shit. I was a big fan of that. I love, Shane would kind of come in, doing some cocky little hand moves and stuff like that. I ate that up when I was younger. So I had to have Shane on my list.
Yeah, no, I'm not. You didn't lose me on that. I like that pick.
I saw Shane McMahon jump off the Hell in the Cell at the WrestleMania I was at.
Dude, I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know what event it was. I'm telling you, they were on like the top of the Titantron, and he literally had to have fallen 30 or 40 feet. It was sick.
Crazy.
But
yeah, he did the dive off the Hell in the Cell, went through the announce table, but they had like an inflatable something underneath that table to cushion his blow. So
yeah,
I don't know if you could see it on TV, but I definitely could see it in the crowd.
All right, let's go to my number 9. And so, listen, I'm sure people are going to say this is way too low for this guy, but I had stopped watching wrestling at this point, guys. But I put him on the list because there's no doubt that this guy and 2 other guys that are on my list saved wrestling after Hogan left to go to WCW. WWE was in a bad spot, and this guy is one of the guys that helped save it, and that's Stone Cold Steve Austin. I wasn't really watching when he, went when they put him over and he became a big star. But you can't make a list like this and not have a guy like Stone Cold Steve Austin on there. So he was hugely popular. The Austin 316 stuff. He had some great matches with Bret Hart and The Rock. Definitely belongs on any list. So I had to put him on there. He's my number 9.
All right, that's a good one. All right, is it my turn?
I'm sure Stone Cold will be brought up.
I'm sure he's gonna be some people's number 1. But...
Yeah. So my number 9 is gonna be a female wrestler. I don't know if we'll see many of those tonight.
I don't have any on the list, so I'm excited to see who this is.
To me, her dad is a very probably up on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Her dad is Ric Flair, but I'm talking about Charlotte Flair.
Flair.
She's already the 14 or 15 time women's champion. You go watch her match. She's so good, man. She's good on the microphone.
Yeah.
I think she was one of the first women that main evented WrestleMania a couple years ago. Yeah, I'd say Blake's probably.
See, I'm gonna
at me, but
I'm gonna say something.
I'm a big Charlotte Flair fan. I don't.
Yeah, and I'll just say something about Ric Flair. Ric Flair, I don't have him on my list at all. I'm sure some people are going to have him on their list. And the reason I don't have Ric Flair on my list is because Ric Flair was not a great wrestler. As far as wrestling, what Ric Flair was great at was a personality and cutting promos. If you're talking about top 10 wrestlers cutting promos, he might be the number 1, Ric Flair. I don't deny that he had a long career. And yeah, he wrestled last year, didn't he? He fucking wrestled last year. He passed out, like almost died. But Ric Flair, yeah, there's certain guys that are just, they're not great wrestlers. Like I said earlier, they're not great wrestlers, but they're great personalities, and that to me is Ric Flair.
I don't think
Yep.
Blake is a big fan of me having Charlotte Flair on my top 10 of all time.
Well, it's why it's your top 10.
It's my top 10.
All right, so I'm looking at the nines. I see James Moran. Is that the first one you guys see? James has Roddy Piper. He's got him at number 9. Yep.
Yeah.
Also, that's Ronnie. Ronnie's got Roddy Piper. Piper's getting brought up a lot here all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Blake says the Ultimate Warrior, WrestleMania 6, bounces back and forth. Yeah. That was a big one. That I couldn't believe they had Hogan lose there. I still can't believe they had him lose there. Allie says number 9, Big Sexy, Kevin Nash. And let's see who else we got here. Kevin Nash, looking. I don't see it. Oh, number 9. No, Joshua Horguy says Vader.
Big Vader.
9. Yeah, big man, big guy. And I think that's all we got for number 9s.
Yeah. What did you say that was so ignorant, Jake?
What did I say?
Ric Flair stuff.
About Ric Flair? Yeah.
Well, but dude, it's true. Listen, Ric Flair, all he does, I mean, tell me I'm wrong. All he does is throw guys into the rope and chop the guy 150 fucking times and put a figure 4 leg lock on him. What does he do? He's, as far as wrestling and technical wrestling, he's not good. But as far as like going out and,
he used to go night after night after night with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, like hour long.
First of all, he's not in Steamboat's class as far as a wrestler. And all he does, I'm telling you, just go watch his match. There's another guy on this list I'm going to bring up, and I'm going to hammer for his lack of wrestling. But he's very high on my list. And but Flair, again, there's no doubt about it. If you're talking about cutting promos and you're talking about somebody who's, I'm not saying he's not a legend in the business, he is, but he might be the master at cutting promos, but he's not a great wrestler. Sorry.
Well, when do you think Flair's athletic prime would have been? Early 80s?
Yeah, probably like late 70s, early 80s.
I don't know.
He's not like an athletic prime guy. He hurt his back in a plane crash. He's a showman, and he's good at the ring psychology.
Right.
He just knows how to have a good match.
No.
Like that.
Lavelle thinks my statement's going to come back to bite me on this list. It might be, man. Maybe it's a hot take. I don't know.
Probably the most famous wrestler of all time. You could say something similar, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
We are going to cross that bridge. I think Nick Pusch and I have the same number 1. I can pretty much guarantee it. All right, let's go to the number 8s. Everybody get your number 8s in the chat. And let's start with Nick Pusch.
All right. My number 8 is the dead man, The Undertaker.
Oh, man.
You can't really write the history of wrestling, especially, from the 90s onward, without talking about The Undertaker. What a great character.
Real good character.
That was just kind of created. And, it's crazy that his character wasn't just one of these flash in the pans for a couple of years. He just went on and on and on. And he had the bike phase for a while. But, I remember being, young in the, 90s when he came up, and like, holy shit, like some of that stuff was terrifying, buried alive matches and, all shit like that. It was great.
You know what? I didn't put The Undertaker on my list. And that might be an oversight by me. You might be right. It's
hard.
The Undertaker.
Hard.
I mean, it's very hard. There's a lot of people that were left off my list, but I can't argue with The Undertaker at all. Yeah. Okay, my number 8 is Andre the Giant. Just for what he was wrestling's attraction in the before WrestleMania, in that span between 80 and 85. Andre the Giant was the attraction. You'd never seen anything like this big 7'4" huge guy. I mean, there's just legendary stories about the guy used to go and drink, I don't know, 5 cases of beer. You know what I mean? Like, imagine drinking 5 cases of beer. I mean, this is a guy used to have to take shits in a bathtub. I don't want to get too graphic, but if you go, but watch the documentary on Andre the Giant, man, it was pretty hard being Andre the Giant. So
like you've never shit in a bathtub. Come on.
Well, but I not the same. No, Andre, and I'm gonna save the WrestleMania 3 stuff with Andre. I think I just think you, like Push said, you can't write the history of wrestling without the Undertaker. I don't think you can write the history of the WWE or wrestling without Andre the Giant. So
Yeah, good one.
And one of the best
Yep.
heel turns ever. So okay,
Yes.
Bud, what do you got?
Was it though? He just
Oh yeah,
brought
no, it was
Bobby
great.
Heenan out with him.
I
Like,
know,
come
no.
on. It was
That's
cheating.
one of the best storylines WWE has ever
It was
done.
a good storyline, but just bringing him out with Bobby the Brain Heenan,
No,
just
it was
fucking
great.
cheating.
It was great.
Yeah, it's just shortcuts. Go ahead.
All right.
Nick.
No, it's you, buddy.
Oh, is it me?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah, it's you. Push already gave his.
all right.
Push
So
said the fabulous Moolah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm all about giving the Flairs their flowers. Ric Flair, number 8 for me. Like,
See,
I think back to his match
That's
with
so
Shawn,
low.
his retirement match with Shawn Michaels. One of
it
the
was a
best
good
things
match.
ever.
I will say it was a
fucking
good match.
awesome.
It was good.
Like,
Yes,
as
that
old
was
as
a
he
very good
was,
match. Yeah.
Of course, he had Shawn Michaels with him, but that it's a shame he fucked that retirement up because it would have been perfect.
Yeah, that was a
perfect
good
way to
match.
go
I
with it.
will give you that. I can't deny that. Yep.
So yeah, number 8, Ric Flair.
Ric Flair.
All right, I'm up for the chat, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Looks like Allie is first from what I'm seeing. So Allie with Goldberg.
And a lot
First I
of people
thought
love
it said-
Goldberg. I never liked Goldberg.
Yeah, first I thought that said, remember Gilbert? Do you guys remember that?
Yeah,
I think
well,
Goldberg. I think Goldberg's overrated, but that's me.
Yeah, yeah.
His undefeated streak was pretty cool. But
Yeah,
It was
he's
cool,
happy.
but then they blew it. You know, like they blew.
Yeah.
WCW, they blew everything.
Yep. All right.
James Morant and Blake both have Sting 8.
Wow.
And
Well-
Blake says specifically Surfer Sting with blonde hair.
Can't do it.
Josh the Horror Guy has Rob Van Dam.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah. Ronnie has Brock Lesnar.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I'm a little bit
I
surprised
think-
there. A little bit surprised
Yeah.
with that one.
A lot of recent ones there. I guess not really.
Brock Lesnar, he's still going. Sting.
Is he still going? Okay.
Sting is still going. He's in AEW.
Is he?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and
Is he
there's
still,
and there's
is he still wearing the
No, he's
crow
the
makeup
the
or whatever?
crow. Yeah, he's still doing the crow, but they use him perfectly. He doesn't. I don't know how the fuck he does it. He's like 65 years old, still got it. Amazing.
Crazy.
Wow. Took inspiration from Ric Flair last year wrestling.
Yeah, but
Steamboat too.
but
Steamboat
yeah,
wrestled.
Yeah, but Sting hasn't had any retirement matches yet.
Yeah. Well,
Ric Flair's had like 2 or 3. So
Yeah. All right. Let's keep it rolling here. Number 7, Nick Push. What do you got?
Number 7 for me is the Big Boss Man from the, I guess,
The Big
early
Boss Man.
90s.
what?
Yeah. I love this guy, dude. I had a little like stuffed animal, I guess, stuffed pillow of the Big
Yeah.
Boss Man. Like that's
Yeah,
how
that's
much I
one- yep.
liked him as a kid. You guys remember those?
Yes, I
Yeah,
do.
The wrestling buddies.
Yeah, so
Wrestling buddies.
I don't really have. Yeah, that's what they're called, wrestling books. Yeah, those are great, man. But yeah, I had that as a kid. He was like one of my favorite wrestlers, if not my favorite wrestler when I was a kid. Maybe it's because I come from a family of police, so maybe that's why I was drawn to him. My dad was a cop. But yeah, I liked him. I don't have too many in the ring memories of him, but I had to put him on there just for young Nick. So he's my number
Nice.
7.
All right,
Nick,
everybody get your number 7s in the chat. I see people
Nick,
putting their number
did you
7s in the
cry
chat.
when Nails beat the Big Boss Man with his nightstick?
No, I do remember that though.
Remember, it was a
That's
prisoner that he
hilarious.
guarded that got out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going
That's
to
good.
I'm going to break the fourth wall here. My number 7. So you guys all know that my nickname is Jake. Jake is not my real name. It is my nickname. And it is my nickname. So it started as Jake, then it went to Jake Blaster, and it's as a kid, and it all stems from me. I have older brothers, I have brothers that are like, 15 years older than me, 3 of them. 15, 16 years older than me. And then when I was a little kid, what I used to do is goad them into wrestling. And of course, I used to be Jake the Snake Roberts. And that is my number 7 because I used to put the DDT on him and all that other stuff. I don't know. I was a big fan of Jake the Snake Roberts. So that's where the nickname Jake comes from.
You're
so
kidding.
no.
No, I think that's the first thing you told me when we met in person.
No
That
shit.
is exact. That is
I
actually
would
so.
never have guessed that.
So that is actually where the nickname comes from. Now, I didn't know that it was going to spawn the best channel on YouTube. I didn't know that, but at the time, but yes, that is where the nickname comes from. Jake the Snake Roberts. Dude, when he put that snake on Andre the Giant and Andre was freaking out in the ring. I mean, and this is what I'm saying. Like, this is what I'm saying about characters. Jake the Snake Roberts is not a buff guy. He's not a big guy. He's not, he's not going to overwhelm you with his physique, but he was just a great character. And the DDT is arguably one of the best finishers ever. I mean, right? It's gotta be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Get your
Jake
number
the Snake.
7s in here.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be in like your top 3 there.
You know what? And that's the
That's
thing.
my-
People will say, "Well, what? It's your nickname, but it's not higher." There's wrestlers that I just had to put. Ahead
I
of this
thought
guy
it was because you're like Jake from State Farm. That's what I always thought.
there. No. All right, Bud. What do you have for number 7?
My number 7, The Undertaker. I remember when this guy debuted, I was fucking 11 years old at Survivor Series.
Yep,
I never would have expected when I first saw him that this guy would be wrestling with us for 30 plus years and just he had the streak at WrestleMania. Like, what? Oh,
Shane Emerson. Shane Emerson is joining the group. He's in the
you're
chat.
late to the party, Shane. That gag's already been done.
Yeah, Shane. That was already said, but we'll read it for you, buddy. I agree with it, by the way.
But the Undertaker, he did the Dead Man gimmick, and then he did the American Badass, which is probably my favorite.
And it was something new, like you'd never seen. That's what was great about the Undertaker. It was something new, and he's a big dude, so like he was imposing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Undertaker's great, man. Nobody can't argue with that.
To me, no one should have ever beat the streak with him.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't think they should have done that. They should have ended it like that. But
yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Undertaker.
All right.
All
right. Who's reading the chats?
I'll do
you
the
read
chat.
them? Okay.
All right. James Morant has Hulk Hogan despite his backstage politics. Sure, we'll be talking about Hulk Hogan again.
I'm sure we will. But I agree with you, Shane. I mean, James. Shane. James. Now I'm getting all our viewers crossed up.
Ronnie has Sting. I don't know if he means Surfer Sting or Crow Sting or All Sting. Or that fake Sting that joined the NWO. Could be that one. Alley Girl, Trish Stratus.
I love Trish Stratus.
Yeah, she's going to wrestle at the next WrestleMania, as a matter of fact.
Really?
I had a huge thing for Trish Stratus, man. She was
who didn't?
Ooh, boy.
Josh the Horror Guy, Randy Orton.
Who's this Josh the Horror Guy? Who's this guy?
Loves Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton's he's pretty legendary. Blake, number 7 for him is Dusty Rhodes. Jake won't like it because he was a promo guy.
Hey, I'm going to give you a promo guy. I'm going to give you a promo guy. Very high on my list there, pal. So,
Blake, do you like Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare? Do you like what he's doing? That's why I want to
his kid or something?
so we could talk about that's his son, Cody Rhodes. He's like one of the he's like the main event WrestleMania. He's like big.
I haven't watched it in 20 some years, man.
Yeah, it's a good time to start again. Then Shane Emerson, Corey Cunningham.
Hey, it was a hell of a takedown of an iconic character, one that we all love. He took him right down.
Don't you break the fourth wall by talking to the chat? Kind of do.
Kind of.
Yeah. Ali says Trish Stratus.
You're not thinking fourth dimensionally.
Hasn't changed today. Yeah, she still looks great.
I have a real problem with that.
That must have been real hard times for Dusty, Blake. That was in the hard times when you met him and got a picture taken with him. Josh the Horror Guy's a huge fan of Cody Rhodes, and he still has his Bullet Club shirt. So the Bullet Club is a I think it started in Japan, maybe, or maybe the Ring of Honor, but it's kind of a NWO ripoff a little bit. For
All right.
you, Nick and Jake, you guys don't watch, so there you go.
All right, so everybody
number-
get your number
yeah.
6s in the chat. Start putting those number 6s in there. Let's keep it moving here with Nick Pusch, number 6. What do you got, buddy?
My number 6 is, I guess he might be the highest paid movie star right now, and that's The Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, he came in. He was in what was that with Farouk and
The Nation of
Nation? Was that what they were
Domination.
called?
The Nation.
Yeah,
The Nation of
he came in
Domination.
he came in as Rocky Maivia. He wasn't even The Rock. He was
Yeah.
Rocky Maivia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. That's right. Yeah, but he obviously his personality, took over, and him and Stone Cold obviously ruled pretty much for the most part. A good few years of the WWE. His story too. He became who he is today is awesome. He was great in the ring, in my opinion, and great at promos, which is obviously no surprise considering what he does today. So had to have The Rock on here. He's my number 6.
Nice.
You
Good
know
pick.
what?
Good
I'm just
pick.
gonna spoil it. The Rock is not in my top 10. I think he's overrated.
Think he's overrated.
No, yeah,
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
and a
Wait,
phony.
wait. Hold on.
He's a
Hold on.
phony.
Wait a minute. Wait.
He's not a phony.
Hold
He's
on.
a
Hold on.
fucking phony.
Wait. I'm
Overrated.
getting
Go ahead, sorry.
roasted. Hold on. I'm getting roasted in the chat for my opinions on Ric Flair, and you don't have The Rock in your top 10.
No,
Wow.
I don't.
All right. Well, let's see here. All right. Where are we at? So
let me ask you this, bud. Let me ask you
Mhm.
this. Sorry, Lester,
Okay.
to interrupt.
Okay.
But let me ask you this. If The Rock wasn't a movie star right now, do you think he would be in your top 10? Do you like hate him because of anything else? Do you think your opinion's jaded because of what he now or anything like that? Or, is
I
that
don't
a
know.
factor for you?
To me, he peaked in
Yeah.
his match with Hulk Hogan, and
Okay.
I think Hulk Hogan probably made The Rock more successful than he probably would have on his own merit. I think Hulk Hogan,
I don't know about that. I think The
No,
Rock was
no,
pretty
no.
successful at that point.
and then he went Hollywood, and Vin Diesel hates him for a reason, so I hate him too.
Vin Diesel hates him because Vin Diesel's a lazy fuck that just wants to sleep in and not work. The Rock's a worker, man.
Whatever.
There you go. There you
Vin
go.
Diesel makes $billion movies. Like,
Vin
what is
So what?
Diesel
That
is
doesn't mean-
Vin Diesel's fucking terrible, man.
Doesn't mean he's a good guy.
Shows up and hits the gym at for you.
Nick, you're talking about family. You need to fucking
Please
stop.
don't give me that Vin Diesel bullshit. The reason Vin Diesel hates
give me
The
that
Rock
Babe
is
in the
Rock
Woods
called him
routine.
out on- Rock called him out on his bullshit.
Oh yeah, well, who's not going to be in the Fast and Furious 10? The Rock. So there you go.
Paul.
Where are we at?
All right, so everybody get your number 6s in the chat, and I'm going to give you my number 6. Excuse me. My number 6 is, I think, arguably the best character the WWE ever came up with, and this
Tatanka?
was, this was before the Mr. McMahon character. This was actually the Mr. McMahon character before McMahon did that, and that is the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, basically, if you go back and watch the documentary on him, he basically said that he was supposed to be that kind of rich, Connecticut, Greenwich, Connecticut, rich, guy that was buy everything. And, he was, again, again, not the most built guy in the business, but he definitely was a great heel, and pretty much good at everything. He was pretty good wrestling technically, and he was real good at cutting the promos. And I mean, who is not thinking of his entrance song right now as we're talking? Yeah,
money. Oh, it's so good.
one of the most iconic entrance songs. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. That would be my number. What are we on, 6s?
Yeah, 6.
Yeah, great choice. Great choice.
Yeah, 6. Yeah, number 6, the $1 Million Man. All right, Bud, go ahead.
All right, my number 6 is the Stinger. When I'm talking about the Crow Sting, like that whole thing with the NWO and Sting, even though they fumbled it at the goal line, that was some of the best fucking television.
Did you like his solo career or when he was with the police?
Yeah, solo career.
That
He was never
funny.
in any band.
That was good. Took me a second, but that was good.
He was the Crow. Like that was the height of wrestling, I think. The Sting was part of the height of wrestling. So I'll put the Sting right there into my number 6.
Nice. All right. Okay.
All right.
Now let's get to the chat. Let's see what we got here. Allie says Edge. Yeah. A little bit after I
still
little bit after I was watching, but yeah, Edge, yeah. James Rant with the Macho Man.
Still Edge by
Randy
Light the Way now
Savage.
playing.
Josh the Horror Guy says Eddie Guerrero.
Sorry, I'm having trouble
Okay.
hearing you.
Yeah, Eddie Guerrero. Ronnie says HBK. I wonder how many people are looking at HBK. So he's not on there, but yeah, he just missed my list, man. That's I don't know. Again, I stopped watching at the time that right when those guys took over, right when the HBKs, Rock and Austin, and when that all late 90s, I wasn't watching wrestling. So, but you know, Shawn Michaels, yeah, he's on the, he's an all timer. So, but he's not on my list. Blake says Vince McMahon. Yeah.
Nice.
I used to love the way he walked to the ring with like his arms like
he was one of the shit. Like,
yeah.
I mean, he wasn't a in-ring performer.
And can we ask, was he was fucking taking steroids like you read about, dude? There's no way that dude was that fucking ripped.
Like he did win the Royal Rumble, I think.
Yeah, he was totally taking steroids.
Yes, he did. That was 2001, I believe, when the corporation remember the Rock and Mankind had that I Quit match. Oh, so
well,
good.
I'll give Ric Flair a little bit of credit. I think the '92 Rumble when he won was one of the best Rumbles.
So I accidentally I said something about Edge, and Siri pulled up something.
Let's check out Apple Music.
Did it again. It's called Still Edge. The song started playing on the stream while you were talking, Jake.
So are we on Twitch, bud? Is it like
No.
Blake and Ronnie's show, or there's gonna be a Twitch question coming?
Wait, I thought Blake's
Okay.
put in a number 6 and another number 6, and didn't he just put number 6?
So some music started playing. He's like, "Is there a wrestler doing a run in on Fancy Talk here?" No, it was a stupid Bud mistake.
That'd be awesome.
All right, so let everybody get your number 5s in. We're gonna move to the top 5, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. But Nick, Pusch, start us off.
My number 5 is Shawn Michaels, Heartbreak Kid.
Yeah.
Blaster just kind of touched on his importance, but I'll just kind of add, when he started kicking his heel on the ring, about to give sweet chin music, and the crowd, that really just amped up the crowd. It's such a, definitely at least one wrestler we're going to name here shortly. It's such a simple move for a finisher, but it just, very effective. The guy had charisma. It's unfortunately, I think he hurt his back, right? Didn't he hurt his back like in the
He did.
the late 90s and had to take a break. It's unfortunate he missed some of the some of the height of the Attitude Era, but he was still there to form DX with Triple H. So love Shawn Michaels, number 5.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, my number 5
before his back injury, the DX stuff.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you're
all right. And my number 5 is what?
Are we on number 5? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're on 5s.
Go ahead.
My number 5 is Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh yeah, stepping to a Slim Jim. Who remembers that? So Savage. Savage was really. I mean, what can you say? Savage was a good wrestler, and he had some great matches. His match with Steamboat at WrestleMania 3 is the best match at WrestleMania 3. It is hands down the best match. Great storyline with Steamboat, with George the Animal Steel and Miss Elizabeth. You can't, obviously, you know what, you could probably say bring Miss Elizabeth in the conversation with Randy Savage, but
did they get married at like a WrestleMania 7 or something?
They got married, so yeah,
Match
one of
made in heaven or something like that.
But
no, that was when she came in and saved him. And then I think they got married at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
SummerSlam. Okay.
Yeah, that was one of the greatest moments. We'll talk about Macho Man a little bit later.
Yeah, Macho Man with his he's got one of the all-time finishers, the flying elbow off the top rope, and Yeah, so I mean, there's not much to say about Macho Man Randy Savage, but yeah, he's great. I mean, what can you know? The guy had some
He-
iconic matches.
He's a guy that's transcended wrestling too, just and as far as like a cultural icon or like pop
Oh
culture,
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And if you've ever seen Jay Lethal imitate him, it's like, dude, it's like fucking spot on. It's like, if you close your eyes and listen to Jay Lethal imitate the Macho Man, you'd think it's fucking Macho Man Randy Savage. It's fucking spot on.
Really.
Yeah.
It's better. He does
Do you
Ric
remember
Flair
how
too, but he's better. His Macho Man's incredible. Do I remember
how
what?
ripped Macho Man was in the original Spider-Man movie
Mm-hmm.
when he
Roids.
Oh man,
Roids. He was
Yeah.
on. He was doing roids when he went to WCW. There's no doubt he was fucking roiding it up. Absolutely no doubt. But he had a great run in the WWE, and there's a long-standing rumor that he slept with Stephanie McMahon. I don't know how true that is, but there's a long-standing wrestling rumor that's why he's not in the W. Is he in the WWE Hall of Fame now, or is that?
Yeah,
Have
he
they?
is.
He is because
Yeah.
they kept him out. I guess I don't know. I
It
don't know
was
how true the rumor
after
is,
he
but-
died, though.
wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. Let's move along. Bud, what do you have for number 5?
So I have in my number 5, Hulk Hogan.
Hulk
Like
Hogan.
a lot of people will say, arguably, he's put wrestling on the map, made it like when it went mainstream, with the help of Vince McMahon. But he was in Rocky 2, and right after that, he just like fucking went to the stratosphere.
Excuse me. He was in Rocky 3, buddy.
Was it Rocky 3?
Yeah.
Oh, my
Yeah.
bad. I should have known that. My bad.
think
But Hulk Hogan,
No, that is your bad.
like he came in, made wrestling mainstream, and then boom, he turns heel in the '90s. Fucking takes it to even new levels. He was a big part to do with that. Having the balls to say goodbye to all the Hulkamaniacs and become the evil Hollywood Hogan.
Yeah.
So, Hulk Hogan, my number 5.
All right.
Can't argue.
Okay. Who's reading the chats?
I think it's me,
remember.
right?
Okay, go ahead.
Yep. So we're at number.
We're at number 5. I think
people.
Blake started. He put his number 5 in there. Let's see.
Okay, goes my bad. Number 5, Taker. So Blake's got the Undertaker at number 5. Ronnie has Bret the Hitman Hart. James Morant also with the Undertaker at number 5. Josh the Horror Guy, you guys are gonna have to enlighten me. AJ Styles, who's that?
I don't know who that is.
He is he started in total nonstop action wrestling.
Okay.
Fucking great performer. I'd say he's very similar to Shawn Michaels. Very
Okay.
top rope, jumping around, flying around guy, and he's worked his way to the WWE, and he's a big star. He's a big star now.
Okay. As I said, the name sounds vaguely.
Yeah.
I think I've heard of
It's
him.
got to
but-
be
hmm
pretty big, but also pretty new. I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Allie, her number 5 is the Undertaker. So we got 3 Undertakers at number 5. Nice.
Yeah.
I think that gets us back to where we are.
All right.
So my number 4, right?
Yeah, it's your number 4. Go ahead. And everybody get your
my
number
number 4
4s in the chat. But go ahead, Push.
Go ahead.
What
Yep.
you got?
Sorry, I got distracted by Blake's comment. My number 4 is Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yeah.
Another childhood favorite of mine. Don't really know too much to say, but him giving the sunglasses to a fan, going into the ring was always awesome. I was as a kid. And then who can forget, when Vince McMahon essentially stole the championship from him. Was that him? That was him, right? At like SummerSlam and
Mm-hmm.
before he went to WCW.
The Montreal screw job, yes.
Yes. I remember watching a documentary on that. But
Yeah.
Hitman was awesome. He basically, I don't know what he really did in the WC. But as far as my memory goes in the WWE, he was
Oh, man,
the man for
It was just
for
a
between
failure
Hogan and
from
the
the
Attitude
beginning.
Era.
Well, he was the
Yeah,
bridge.
was
He
it?
was definitely the bridge. And
Yeah.
I'll pick right up on that because he is also my number 4, Bret the Hitman Hart.
Nice.
Arguably, as far as technical wrestling, the best wrestler ever. He's to kind of flip it on its head though. He's not great at promos. He's not a great promo guy. He's great in the ring. He was a great tag team partner. He had a great solo run, And yeah, Bret Hart basically was the bridge between Hogan and the steroid era to get you to the Attitude Era, which got you to Rock and Austin and all those guys. But yeah, Bret Hart is just, I mean, he's got to be on anybody's list of top 10 wrestlers.
Not on mine.
Well, but,
Only
Wait,
because
do you not like Canadian? Do you not like Canadians?
No,
or
it's
something,
all-
man?
I-
Is
what's going
Owen
on
Hart
with
on
you?
your list?
I explained it
Owen Hart
earlier.
on
It's
this?
because when he went to WCW, he flopped, and he was
yeah, but
obviously-
that wasn't really because of him, though. I
Yes,
think that
it
was more or
was.
less, I don't know about
He
that.
should have stayed in the WWE.
They didn't want
never
him. They
left.
threw him out. They threw him out of the WWE. McMahon told him he
Ted
couldn't
Turner,
pay him.
yeah.
I
Ted
don't
Turner
care.
paid him a shit ton of money.
Well, McMahon backed out of his deal. McMahon basically told him,
Yeah.
"Listen, I don't want to pay you anymore." So
Yeah, you've been corrected, Nick. It was not SummerSlam. It was the Survivor Series, where the Montreal screw job took place. So.
It was that was at the '97 Survivor Series. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And I just Bret Hart went to WCW and he
And
was
Bret,
just
and to
terrible.
be honest with you, Bret Hart is wrong in that whole thing of the Montreal screw job. I mean, there's no
Yeah.
way Vince McMahon could allow Bret Hart.
Although I think
to,
the way it went down.
That whole thing
Yeah, but
is
Bret-
a
but Bret-
fucking.
but
They
Bret-
were
Bret
all
Hart-
in on it.
Yeah, but Bret wasn't playing ball, dude. Bret was not going to play ball,
True.
and they needed to get the belt off of him. And Bret
Yeah.
was doing this whole thing where, I have creative control and everything like that. So, but the thing is, dude, you're leaving. Just put
Yeah.
the guy over, and whatever. He's got this whole thing. I don't want to lose in Canada. I mean, come on. So I think in that respect, I think he's wrong. But I think
Well,
he's
think about the time too. Like Vince is right. You couldn't let the champion go to WCW.
right with the belt.
You know,
I mean, yeah.
At that time, WCW was really starting to grow, and it might not have been making Vince nervous yet, but you
Put it
didn't
to you
know
this
what was
way,
going to happen.
If the WWE was, if I owned it, if I was Vince McMahon, I probably would have done the same thing. So,
Yeah.
you have to protect your business. And Bret Hart,
Yeah.
was in the business long enough to know that and shouldn't have been.
Come on, Josh. All right.
All right. Let's move along to that was me, Bud. What do you have for number 4?
My number 4 is going to be.
Hold on. Can I guess?
Go ahead.
Is it the Red Rooster?
No.
Oh.
It's Stone Cold Steve Austin, the guy who started from nothing, and I think he's supplanted Hulk Hogan as the biggest star in wrestling. And I would say
I'll argue that point a little bit.
yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin, man, fucking money making motherfucker. God, the people just blow the fucking roof off the building when that glass breaks.
Oh, there's no doubt. He's popular. He's one of the most popular wrestlers ever, as far as fans and stuff like that. They love them.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Stone
there's
Cold
no doubt
Steve
about that.
Austin, yeah.
And that's why I put him on my list.
Yeah.
Okay. We got number 4. Who's reading it? Is it me or you, Bud? Is it me?
Apparently, we don't know shit according to Blake, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll read them. It's Shane says. Not Shane. James says Shawn Michaels.
I don't see Allie's number 4.
I don't see it either. Allie, did you put your number 4 in? Put it in again, and then we'll read it. Ronnie says Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
Blake says Macho Man Randy Savage, star of Spider-Man, Ready to Rumble. Also had a few good matches. Yes, I would agree with that.
Blake and Ronnie, can you guys switch your names? You guys are confusing that.
I know. I gotta look because it says one says ATG and AT podcast or.
Well, clearly,
Yeah, we need Blake to put Blake first. Blake
Ronnie
ATN.
is ATG and AT podcast. I think that's what I'm getting from this.
Yeah,
Well, but
it
they
is.
don't. They,
That-
they
it is
see the
that,
problem
but
is
it
they don't
looks
talk to
similar.
each other. The problem is they hate each other in real life and they
Yeah.
don't talk to each other. So that's why there's all the confusion.
Yeah, they're like the Rockers.
They like the Rockers.
The great
point.
tag
Blake's-
team in
Blake's
front of the
in-
camera.
Blake's in a
but-
mood tonight, man.
Yeah, he
Blake's
really
in a mood.
is. Yeah, he really is.
I guess he's got to drive home. He's got to drive home tomorrow, and he tuned in for this, and now he's all pissed off.
I mean,
because
he's
the
taking
lists
all
aren't
sorts of
going how he
weird
wanted.
pictures, standing next to like all sorts of like. I mean, what's going on?
I think what Blake's trying to say is it's still real to him. Damn it, he's that guy. I think he's that guy. That might be him.
All right, I think we're good. I think we're good with the number 4. So everybody get your number 3s in number 3 wrestlers of all time, and we'll start the top 3 with Nick Pusch.
Yeah.
My number three, we haven't heard at all today. It's a little surprising to me, so I'm guessing I'm on an island here with the love for this guy. But my number three, Mick Foley. Obviously
Wow.
he had multiple characters, whether
Yeah.
it was Dude Love, Cactus Jack, or Mankind. But guy had some of the biggest balls in wrestling history with some of the shit he did. I don't know. I imagine he's not wrestling anymore. Like I said, I have no idea, but I imagine he's going to be like Muhammad Ali, eventually, because the guy, just
he
took
probably
balls
shits in a
he did a lot.
colostomy bag.
thumbtacks.
He did do a lot of crazy stunt shit. That was probably gonna
Can't
Like,
put
I
Mick
hope
Foley
he
in the
was.
top 10.
Well,
No.
Scott, I just want you to know, Scott, I see what you put in there, and I said that to the guys in our text group earlier that if you don't have that man on your list, you're not a true fan.
Allie's
So,
number 4 is Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh, Sergeant
I
Slaughter.
You
love
love
Sergeant Slaughter.
You really love a man who betrayed America and his friends
And
with
that
Saddam
storyline was so
Hussein?
great.
That
Desert Storm
storyline
going
was
on.
great. That was
Oh.
going into
How
WrestleMania
could you
7. That was a
you
really
think that guy's top 10?
that was a good storyline with Slaughter and that was good.
Yeah,
Had a lot
it
of
was so
balls
good.
to do that. Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right, Blaster, you're number 3.
Let's go to my number. My number 3 is a guy who I think was way ahead of his time as far as high flying wrestling and just another great wrestler. Been in the business for a long time. He has one of the greatest entrance music themes of all time, and that's Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Again, you could talk about his match with Savage at WrestleMania 3, obviously, but Steamboat was he was really, really good. His matches were always entertaining, never boring, and he was just his athleticism was we didn't really see that a lot from a lot of the guys back in that day and age when he was we're talking about early 80s into the late 80s, but Steamboat was he was fun to watch, man. So Ricky the Dragon Steamboat would be my number 3.
All right.
All right.
All right. My number 3 is the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. To me, I think he's probably the greatest in-ring wrestler, like worker, I guess, what you would say if you were a smart wrestling fan. But the guy fucking go out and wrestle a mop and make it look like $1 million.
Yeah.
That's how good he was. Shawn Michaels.
Great theme song, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, had another great theme. Yeah.
Yeah, another good theme
He
song.
was kind of an asshole and had a redemption, born again Christian.
That's the song that Bud walks into his YouTube studio before he goes live. That's what he walks in.
No.
When you go on AT&G on AT, they'll probably play that song for you.
I hope so. Blake is all fired up, man. He does not like our lists. I don't understand it.
Blake, I want to see like a rebuttal video. That's what I want to see.
Oh my God!
Torching
me for Ric Flair and all this other stuff.
I was gonna say I kind of don't actually. Now that
Calm down, Blake. You're gonna get pink eye again. Calm down.
All right, so let's go to that was Bud. You just gave it, right? You gave your number 3.
Yeah.
So let's go to we're going to the chat. All right. So who's reading the chat? Bud, I think it's you.
All right, number 3 is James Moran has Bret Hart. Nobody sold a beating like him. Yeah. I mean, he was
That's
a good
true. That is
technical
true.
wrestler, but
He did sell a beating though. That was good.
But you know, he was a WWF made kind of thing, and he went to WCW and he just flamed out. And it's a shame. Ronnie. Ronnie has Macho Man Randy Savage. Scott, Coco Beware, love him and love his
The
parrot.
Birdman, the Birdman. Does anybody know what the parrot's name was?
What the fuck was it? It was Nick Push.
Snooki.
Man, I can kind of remember it.
Fredo. It was Fredo.
Fredo.
No,
Frankie. It's Frankie.
Frankie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Josh the Horror Guy, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Phil. Mrs. Phil. Push is the only one
Alley
getting these
Girls,
references.
number 3. Sting, the Crow version. I agree. It was great.
Okay.
Ronnie says Ricky the Dragon Steamboat had 3 matches with Flair in '89.
And
Frankie died in a fire. That's right.
and I'm sure that Steamboat had to carry Flair the whole fucking time because Flair could not wrestle.
Frankie the Parrot did die in a fire. I remember that.
All right.
Yeah, that's a shame. All right.
All right. So we're into the
twos.
top two. Yeah, Nick Pusch. What do you have for number two, buddy?
My number two, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I guess it's arguable whether he saved wrestling or not in the late 90s, but he's definitely one of the major reasons in that storyline with Mr. McMahon. I think Ronnie said it earlier in the chat. Everybody hates their boss. I don't, if you're watching, but everybody hates their boss. And just, a guy that's, flipping people off, drinking beers and talking shit to their boss was perfect for that time. Stone Cold just played it off amazingly. I think he won, what was it? King of the Ring is kind of where the 16 stuff started, I believe. And actually, I think that happened in Milwaukee, in Milwaukee, where I'm from. So
I would say this.
Right.
I would say this, that Bret Hart was the bridge between the steroid era and the Stone Cold era, but there's no doubt that we hadn't seen a character that the audience gravitated towards in wrestling since Hogan until we got Stone Cold Steve Austin. So that's unmistakable. So yes, and in that respect, Stone Cold, like I said, I only put him that low on my list because I'd stopped watching wrestling at that point, but you can't make a list of top 10 wrestlers and not have Stone Cold on any list. And I don't care if it's, promo cutting or wrestling or just, fan favorite, so. All right.
Agreed.
My number two is The Rock. And again, I didn't watch when The Rock was, having his run. But, dude, The Rock was, again, like Stone Cold. You actually had, when Hogan was there, you had Hogan and then you had everybody else. When Stone Cold was there and The Rock was there, you had Stone Cold and The Rock, and they were both equally loved by fans. Who's coming? Who's coming at us in the chat?
It's Blake. He's like, dude, he's very passionate.
Oh my God.
Blake, do not get in a car accident tomorrow.
I think I made him mad by saying Bret Hart was like a flop. He was a flop in WCW, Blake. Come on.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but Bud, the guy had a long.
That doesn't mean it's Bret Hart's fault. That means it's WCW's fault for not knowing how to utilize.
The guy had a long, successful career before he got to the WCW. But anyway,
it's Ted Turner's fault.
The Rock with his whole shtick with the people's elbow and throwing the elbow pad into the thing, and if you smell what the Rock is cooking, like I said, you could arguably say it was as popular as anything Stone Cold did. Like, you had two great characters. You had the Rock and Stone Cold. And obviously they had a couple of matches, but so the Rock, and he's got a lot of crossover with the movies that he's done. He might be the most successful wrestler to cross over into movies. It's definitely arguable. And but yeah, I have to put the Rock at number one. Number two. Okay, Bud, go ahead. What's your number two?
My number two is Chris Jericho. I can't believe this guy's name hasn't come up. Y2J, man, this guy started from nothing. He was a man of 1,001 holds, and then he went to the WWF and had arguably, I think, one of the greatest debuts in the Attitude Era.
So you don't have Bret Hart and you have Chris Jericho.
Yeah, Chris Jericho, he's still going, man. Everywhere he goes, he makes money. He went from WCW, jumped to WWF, and then now he's in AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's at the top of his game. The guy reinvents.
That's your number two?
The guy reinvents himself like every 5 or 6 years. Chris Jericho, one of the greatest of all time.
Wow.
Number two.
That's a hot take. All right. So who's reading the number twos? It's okay.
Is that me or you? I can go.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'll go. You can have the number ones, Blaster.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Two looks like James Morant is first. He's got the Rock.
Yep.
And he said it doesn't matter if Jake likes H2O. Joshua Horguy, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think every blue collar working man wish they could whoop boss's ass like he did.
Yeah.
I'm right.
Booger T.
Good call, Josh. Scott with King Kong Bundy. It's It's another name that I haven't heard in a long time.
And
I
Lavelle
remember
brings up a
King
good
Kong
point.
Bundy.
Lavelle brings
Yeah.
up a good point. Stone Cold definitely did save WWE from WCW. I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, very well.
Okay, continue on. We
Yep.
got Ronnie.
Yep. Cold brought in a new boom period.
Yeah, he did.
Blake says Bret Hart, best technical wrestler ever, and very underrated promo. And he continues with 97, greatest year
I'll give
in
him
wrestling.
that.
Bret was a
I'll
big
give
part
him
of
that.
that.
It was where Brett turned on only the American fans. Like, he was good guy for all the international fans, Canada. And the guy got booed the fuck out of the building.
Yeah,
in
when
the
he did
United States.
that heel turn, holy shit.
That was great. Yes.
Yeah. And then Wayne Turner, as always, in the future. It's Monday in Australia. How you doing, Wayne?
Wayne, what's up,
his
man?
His number two is Ric Flair. We've talked about a lot.
I like
tonight.
Ric Flair a lot. I'm glad you brought him up. I like him a lot.
Hey, Wayne, did any banks collapse in the future yet? Anymore?
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah, dude.
You got any
What
hot
stocks can
stock
I buy
tips? Yeah,
tomorrow?
exactly.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So everybody get your number ones in the chat, and we will. Oh, Allie says number 2 is John Cena. She just put that in there.
Yeah.
Okay, Allie, John Cena, nice.
Yeah.
I guess none of us have said this name. Bud has, right? Yeah, I think Bud. I was gonna say I thought we all had the same number 1, but I think Bud said him already.
Yeah, I think Push and I have the same number 1, so I'll let Push go first, and then I'll just pick up.
I mean, if we don't, that means he's not on your list, and then
Was
there's
it the Honky Tonk Man?
I had the Honky Tonk Man written down, but he didn't make the list. A great character, Honky Tonk Man, great character.
But no, my number 1, and I assume Blaster's number 1 is obviously Val Venus. So yeah.
All right.
It's Hulk Hogan. Come on. I mean, God, Blaster, what do we say to do justice for this guy here? I'm gonna butcher it.
Well,
I mean, probably the most important wrestler of all time, right?
Listen, I'll just piggyback off of what you, because we have the same number 1. My number 1 is also Hulk Hogan, but listen, and I think James brought it up. Despite the last 20 years of Hulk Hogan and things he's said and done in the media and all that stuff, sex tapes and profanity and all of the shit that he said, the stupid shit that he said. Yeah. I'm just talking about wrestling and the WWE, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, all of these guys. The WWE as a whole is built on the back of Hulk Hogan. You can't even argue it. Without Hulk Hogan, there is no WWE. Hulk Hogan transformed into a character that was larger than life when he won the title in 1984 and beat the Iron Sheik, to his match with Andre the Giant. I mean, you got to think of it this way. Vince McMahon, to put on WrestleMania 1, Vince McMahon was in debt up to his eyeballs. If that did not go well, Vince McMahon was going to go bankrupt. WrestleMania 2 was not even as much of a success. It wasn't until WrestleMania 3 and that storyline with Andre, which was not the first time that Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant. He had slammed him years before, I think in Japan or something like that. He had slammed him. But the storyline going into WrestleMania 3, because Andre had been a friend to Hogan, and that whole heel turn, that whole thing led to, I know the record's been broken since, but that whole thing with 93,000 people watching WrestleMania 3. I remember where I was, where I watched it. I watched it on pay-per-view. It's again, like I said, Hogan is a terrible wrestler. He is a terrible wrestler. He has no technical. His matches are all the same. He starts out, and then he gets beat up, and then he hulks up, and then he drops the leg. So kind of like we were talking about Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan I would say Ric Flair is better than Hulk Hogan as a wrestler. But Hulk Hogan, as far as a personality, as far as just a star, in the 80s, nobody bigger. And obviously the WWE is Vince McMahon's creation. It's his baby. He deserves a lot of credit for it. I think Vince is a great promoter and a good businessman, but he could not have done anything without Hulk Hogan. And so I don't think it's even arguable that The guy is one of the. Again, he's in Rocky 3. You know, he's just. You think about pop culture in the 80s. You think about Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
You know, it's. I don't know what else. I mean, I'm sorry, pushing me to steal all your thunder, but.
No, I knew you'd be able to articulate it better, so that's why I let you go.
But yeah, Hulk Hogan would be as well as it's Nick Push's number one, and it's also my number one,
Yep.
and I might say, arguably the most identifiable entrance theme.
Oh God,
Ever.
dude, I listened to that to get pumped.
And dude, his heel
This makes
turn
me
at
happy.
his heel turn at Bash of the Beach was awesome. His heel turn when he was the third man. Oh my God,
it was shocking,
dude, it was unbelievable. So yeah, Hogan. You know.
Yeah, but where was he on your list? Was he like your number 4 or something?
Well, yeah, he was number 5, I think.
Bud, can we really take Bud's list seriously? I mean, look on your screen and look to the left of Bud and see what he has on the wall there. So can we really take him seriously with that thing on the wall?
Great movie.
Great movie.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. Dennis Quaid is Bud's number 1.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Any guesses? Any guesses?
I'm trying to think of who you haven't mentioned. Obviously.
Yeah, I don't know who it could be. I think you've mentioned Stone Cold. You hate.
I don't think he's mentioned Shawn Michaels. I don't think he's mentioned Shawn Michaels.
I think he did.
Shawn Michaels. Yeah, was my number 3.
He did mention Shawn Michaels. All right, Bud, I'm going to say it's Andre the Giant.
It's not Andre the Giant.
It's got to be.
Come on. I mean, we've talked it's been brought up tonight.
Any of our lists.
Zeus.
No. Yeah, it's on I think he was on Jake's list. I don't know if he was on yours.
He was on my list and $1 Million Man.
No.
I don't know who it is.
So he wrestled probably the most highly rated match at WrestleMania 3.
Oh, Macho Man?
Macho Man Randy Savage, number 1. Greatest of all time for me, man.
His match with Steamboat was awesome.
And when I was a kid, man, I started watching and the Macho Man became a good guy. And we teamed with Hulk Hogan. And I was
the Mega Powers.
Well, yeah. When he won the title, he beat the $1 Billion Man, dude. That was probably the height of my wrestling fandom. Watching the $1 Million Man, or not the million, lose to the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, that was WrestleMania 4.
Some good ones in there. Adrian Adonis, Doink the Clown, Brutus Beefcake. Those
the adorable Adrian Adonis, not just Adrian Adonis, the adorable.
Yeah. So yeah, the Macho Man, he just great career, you know. And then of course he had to be the guy that between the Mega Powers, it turned bad, but you know he had a nice little redemptive story arc when he was the Macho King. And I just remember when WrestleMania 6 when it was a retirement match against the Ultimate Warrior. And Macho Man had, what's her name, Sherry Martel. And then Miss Elizabeth comes out and saves the Macho Man, and they reunite.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
So I just love the Macho Man. I was very sad when he died.
Yeah. And
That's
again,
a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, a few years back.
It was like a decade ago. But
was it?
Yeah.
But again,
longer than you think.
As far as pop culture too, Macho Man was big in the 80s. I mean, he was, that commercial with Slim Jims and all that stuff. I mean, that stuff.
Just from that alone.
Yeah. I agree. That's a good one.
And he was good, outside of life. You never heard about the Macho Man having any legal problems or anything. So.
Yeah. All right, so let's get
he was
number
the
ones.
Cream of the crop.
But it's your channel. You read the number ones. You finish the.
All right, Blake.
I think Wayne Turner started it.
I don't even see any number ones.
Yeah, there you go. Scroll back up.
Wayne
after
put his
Allie.
number 1 right up. Yeah, Wayne put his number 1 right up. It's like 2 above Allie, I think. 2 above Allie's John Cena.
Oh yeah, yes it is. I see Wayne says
James Morant, Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No, you got up one more. Yeah.
What?
Well, it's Wayne Turner says Bret Hart. Bret Hart, the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I missed that.
Okay, then
James
then you have
Morant,
James
Austin 316. Jake likes Halloween ends. What? Scott Yokozuna, love him and his bonsai drops. Alley Girl, Carrie
Yokozuna was
Von
awesome.
Erich. Texas
Carrie Von
the
Erich.
Von Erichs were big in Texas. I don't think they had very much mainstream success.
Okay.
But the Von Erichs, they're all dead. They all committed suicide.
All right.
Very fucked up. I think they're making a feature movie some big stars are going to be in that playing the Von Erichs. Very compelling.
Yeah.
Ronnie, number 1, Hulk Hogan. No explanation needed. Wrestling isn't what it is today.
I fully agree with
Yeah.
Ronnie on that. That's absolutely true.
And Blake, not to be outdone, Hulk Hogan, greatest baby face of all time, and had the greatest heel turn of all time. He's
That's
the
true.
reason
That's
this
also
ranking
true.
is happening. Also, huge cock, the size of a thermos, according to Courtroom. When he's yeah.
Wait, Blake is having a hell of a night. I mean,
Yeah. Oh god, he's all fired up.
It's in
The
some
guy
hotel
is-
room.
His wife's gonna kick him out of the fucking hotel room. He's so wired.
he's sitting in the car. What do you think? He's sitting in the car.
Number 1 for Josh is The Undertaker. When his mom was alive, he and her loved the character, and besides horror movies, wrestling was something that they both bonded over. Wrestling brings so many people together. It's a great thing. Let's see here. Allie
I think
says
some
her-
people are putting. I think some people are putting like honorable mentions, and I'll
Yeah.
put. I'll give you
We'll
some
get to those.
make my list.
Allie says
Yeah.
her grandma and papa used to take her mom to wrestling every Friday night. Brings families together. Well, everybody in my family makes fun of me for liking wrestling. I don't have anyone to bond with over wrestling, so I kind of live in solitude with wrestling, sadly.
Yeah.
But
I don't
that's,
have anybody to
So do
bond
you
with
still-
over my
so do
hate
you
of
still-
Halloween Ends.
And is Monday Night Raw still going on and all that shit?
SmackDown.
It got too much, isn't it? I remember SmackDown and shit, but then it ended up where there's like 4 days a week there's wrestling on, and it almost
yeah.
got like too much.
Well,
right?
you know what it was. Honestly, what they I think I used to love Saturday night's main event because it was on so late on NBC, but they had all the biggest matches, dude. Hogan was always on Saturday night's main event. He had that infamous match with Andre the Giant where he had the Earl Hebner and Dave Hebner, the referees, where they crossed him and Andre won the belt and tried to give it to Ted DiBiase, and that's what led to the WrestleMania 4 tournament. Was they basically said so anyway, Saturday night's main event was probably before Raw. It might be arguably the best wrestling show because they used to have all the big stars used to be on Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, there's a new wrestling thing called AEW, All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah.
Like all the underutilized talent of WWE, they go there and they become big stars there, and then they go back to the WWE. So it's kind of a farm league.
I'll give you something that didn't make my
Honorable
list.
mentions.
I'll give you I had the Honky Tonk Man, George the Animal Steel, Hillbilly Jim, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I'm trying to think of some others that I had written down. I had the Junkyard Dog, the JYD.
Yeah, I've seen his name a couple times.
Nobody
King-
had the Ultimate Warrior, did they?
No,
I didn't have the Warrior. I didn't-
all the good names are taken. One of them did.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't a big Warrior guy, but
Nobody
Yeah.
with Triple H. That was
So
surprising.
that's
for me,
another
so.
guy who went to WCW and completely bombed. Was the Ultimate Warrior?
Did he?
Yes, he did. All right.
Jesus, don't read Blake's comment.
Honorable mention, huge ass.
I don't even see
His
it.
finisher was the muff stuffer. I don't remember him. Was he Smoky Mountain Wrestling or something
Holy
like
shit.
that? I miss Wayne Turner's number 1. Bret the Hitman Hart is Wayne's number 1.
Yeah, he said that was above. It was above. We
His
got
was
it.
number 2. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we got it.
All right, honorable mentions for me. Eddie Guerrero was a legend. I would put Randy Orton as an
Legend?
honorable mention. Eddie Guerrero?
How about his dad?
Yeah.
How about Randy Orton's dad, Cowboy Bob Orton?
No. Randy Orton, I would put. Randy Orton is the legend killer.
You know who's one that that nobody brought up today, but tonight is Big John Studd. What about Big John Studd?
Big John Dud.
Big Stud.
Greg the
No.
Hammer Valentine?
No.
Oh, I remember him. Yeah.
Let's see. We got
What
Giant
about like tag
Gonzalez.
teams, like the Bushwhackers and?
Oh my God,
Demolition
tag
Man?
teams! My
Ricky
favorite tag
Steamboat.
team of all time is the Killer Bees.
Allie says, what about Michael Hayes and the Freebirds? They were legendary rivals of the Von Erichs. So,
The Rockers is probably my favorite tag
so
team.
Nick, did you just ask if Eddie Guerrero is a legend?
I was asking legitimately because
Yes.
I feel like legend. I feel like me as a casual, haven't watched wrestling in 20 years. If you're using the word legend, I feel like I should know him.
You don't
Even
know
though I'm not a
who
huge
Eddie
fan
Guerrero
anymore.
is. Wow.
Like I know who he is.
I know who
but
he is, but yeah, he was in the
I-
era that I stopped watching
Latino,
wrestling, so I don't really. Yeah.
I know who he
He
is,
was
but like if he's so let me ask you this though: if he is a legend, okay, how many other wrestlers are on par with him career-wise that would also need to be included in the using the word legend? And then is legend just diluted?
See,
I
I
don't know.
wouldn't say he's a legend. To me, I wouldn't say he's a legend. I mean, I can honestly, when you say legends of wrestling, you're talking about the Macho Mans, the Hogans, the Stone Colds,
I would say
those
Eddie
those
Guerrero
guys.
in
But
terms of in-ring ability was right up there with Shawn Michaels.
Oh,
And
was he that good?
he had a great character too during the peak of his popularity. Yes. Yeah, for sure.
how about
Chris
how about
Benoit would be a legend for the wrong reasons.
how about the Mighty Hercules?
No,
Mighty Hercules.
no.
Jimmy
The great
Superfly
Kabuki.
Snuka?
Yeah, nobody
a
brought up Jimmy
great
Snuka.
stage presence.
Nobody brought up Jimmy Snuka. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Snuka was he would talk about the first. He was the first high flyer.
Jimmy
he
Snuka
was,
had one move. Come on.
Yeah, but you know what? Again, nobody had done that before he did that. You know, I mean, he was the. You know who I was going to put on the list,
Rey
but I guess he
Mysterio,
wouldn't.
That's another good one. Yeah.
You know, he wouldn't go on the. I think he'd go on manager's list though. You have to talk about is Bobby Heenan. Is he the greatest manager of all time?
Oh yeah, for sure.
What
Him
about
or
no
Paul,
the
maybe
mouse from the
Paul.
south?
I would say
I
between
think
him
Heenan's
and
better.
I would
I
say
think Heenan's
between
better.
Heenan and Paul Heyman probably.
I'd have to go Heenan. What do you guys think on the chat? Who's the greatest manager of all time?
I don't know.
Paul
I gotta
Bear?
put no.
I think it's Heenan, but
It's got to be Jimmy Hart, right?
Wayne
don't
Turner
know.
has Chris Benoit.
Blake says Jimmy Snuka had a cool finisher, killed his wife. Oh my god!
I mean, we got it. We got to end with that, right?
Well, what about
I
Chris
mean, that's
Benoit?
it.
Blake, have you
That was really
been
bad
drinking
turn.
tonight?
Oh, well, he killed his whole family.
Blake, holy shit!
Hmm.
Wayne Turner says Jimmy Hart would be the greatest manager of all time. How about Captain Lou
Yeah,
Albano?
Cornette.
Yeah.
I can't believe all the good names are taken don't agree with me on Paul Heyman. Come on. Psychosis was always a name.
They're fired
Paul
up.
Heyman,
They say
wasn't-
Ronnie
wasn't-
said Allie knows more than the three of us combined.
Paul E.
wasn't-
Dangerously is Paul Heyman.
Wasn't Paul Heyman the gym teacher that gave George the wedgie on the steps of the New York Public Library?
Can't stand you. Can't stand you.
Your boxer shorts are sticking out of your.
Yeah.
Yeah, James Moran agrees.
He had these
Bobby
little
Heenan and
baked
Paul
bean
Heyman.
teeth. He'd say, "Can't stand you."
Yeah, a lot of Chris Benoit jokes are flying. Blake says he's trying to be a good dad like Benoit. Wayne Turner says
Jesus.
Benoit is to die for. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ugh, well, that was a terrible tragedy.
Yeah, we shouldn't make light of that.
What was a
fucking
bigger
terrible.
tragedy, the Chris Benoit thing or the Owen Hart?
Owen Hart by
Oh.
far.
Yeah.
I don't know I went on by far.
I was
But
crying.
Benoit, huh? What's that? Owen Hart was
not by far. Not by far. Owen
Hart. I mean,
on
Owen Hart was
TV.
bad. Yeah, Owen Hart was really
Blake,
bad.
why are you so mad? I hope you don't want to fight me, because I thought my list was at least respectable. Like I
You know what,
didn't
Blake?
go way outside.
You know what, Blake? Let me tell you something. You know what? You're talking a big game. You know, you're talking a big game here with your picks and all that stuff. I may have to talk to these guys off camera, in post about having you come on here and you know, so we could debate you, not in the chat.
What about Tito Santana?
Tito's a good one. Yep. He definitely he's definitely up there as far as a wrestler. He's definitely yeah. Owen Hart needs to be brought up too. Not for the reason his death, but he was a good wrestler. Owen Hart was a really good wrestler.
Yeah, he was.
He had a great match with Bret Hart. I think it was WrestleMania 10. So, you know, that whole storyline with him and Bret Hart, but terrible what happened to Owen
right.
Hart.
So, oh God, Owen Hart went over the edge. Fuck.
All right, so
Blake
let's.
says, so I'm gonna tease the next show.
Yeah, the tour gets splashed.
What is the next show? I don't even know what we chose.
I don't think the next show is when you're gonna be gone. Remember?
Right, that's
Yeah.
right.
So me and Nick did some talking. We're not gonna do. I looked at natural disaster movies, and there aren't 10 to put together. I don't think.
Really?
Like I could come up with maybe 5.
I mean, I could think of Twister's one,
Geek
right?
5 times.
Yeah, Twister. Yeah. Maybe
The day after tomorrow.
Don't
On
worry.
Dennis Quaid, yeah.
All right. No, that's this one.
Dennis Quaid only made one bad movie his whole career.
So me and Nick decided we are going to do top 10 moments in the Scream franchise. It was on the list of ideas.
What the fuck? I don't get to do that. I'm gonna give you guys my. I'm gonna give you. You know what? I'll be in the chat.
List.
I'll be in the chat. I'll be in the chat that night, and I'll be participating.
You can come on. If you have an hour to spare, you can come on with your phone.
That's true. We'll see.
You can.
Well, I'm gonna be in Connecticut. We'll see how that all goes. Top 10 moments in the Scream franchise or character moments.
Moments.
Huh?
Yeah.
I will tell you this. Can I say one thing? I watched Scream, the original Scream, the day after we did the watch party, bud. It was on Paramount Network.
Uh-huh.
And dude, I just tell you how I don't know if I don't remember this being this good, but that whole scene when Randy's walking through the house and at the end there, and you hear the Halloween music playing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Dude, it's fantastic. It's utterly fantastic. Yeah. And it's not only the music, it's playing like you can hear Laurie in the closet screaming, crying. That whole thing of having the movie play within that part is brilliant. Brilliant. Scream is I don't know. I always thought it was a good movie, but I found myself really liking it a lot more.
Top 10 titty scenes in horror. We may have to do that one.
Well, obviously, look, you've got what's her name from Friday 5. You got Kelly Meeker's got to be up there.
Karen, Nurse Karen.
Nurse
from
Karen
Halloween
has
2.
to definitely be up there. Nurse Karen's up there. Yeah. So
Allie had another Kane.
Oh yeah, Kane.
Dude, when Kane first came on with the Undertaker. The Undertaker's brother.
Yes.
Oh, that's fucking fantastic.
Well, no, Kane was the one. Remember when they did that Undertaker versus Undertaker match? Wasn't that Kane?
Yeah. No,
they did that.
Yeah.
That
it was
that guy. Wasn't? It wasn't Kane.
No, it was. I think his name was Brian Lee. Maybe.
I thought it was
okay.
I thought that was
Taken can help me out with that. No, it was not. It was not Kane.
Even good stuff with like the Ring on Fire. Oh, so good.
Yeah, Inferno match.
Yeah,
I want to do
top 10 movies with wrestlers in it. That's a good one, Ali.
Pretty soon I either want to do top 10 movie scores or top 10 movie soundtracks.
Yeah. Let's see.
That'd be good.
Let's see. Ronnie says next show is best technical matches of all. I will come on and do that one with you guys. Flex my wrestling knowledge.
All right.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Do that one. Brian Lee.
Hey, I never claimed Ronnie to know. Ronnie, I never claimed to know much.
Well, I think that's pretty self-explanatory from the content.
So, anybody want to? Nick, do you have a new venture coming up or any appearances?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. I got a show tomorrow that I'm doing, but people
don't want to talk about
they can
it.
tune in.
Well, what is it?
Huh? It's just a live stream.
You're just gonna shoot the shit?
No, I'm reviewing. I'm gonna start reviewing movies every week, but people will find it.
Okay. Well, that's not I'm not very excited now. I was, but
yeah, I'm not either. I'm not either.
Jake, when are you doing? You gotta go. 1988.
No.
When are you doing
1988? So I started putting it together today. I know what my number one is. It's my favorite, one of my favorite songs of all time, if not my favorite song of all time. I thought it actually came out in '89, but it was released in '88.
Your favorite song of all time?
Yeah. Pusch knows what.
88, you said?
Yeah, 88.
Heaven is a place on earth.
But yeah,
That's a great song. That's a great song.
I think that yes, 88 is going to be the next one to come out. I'll probably finish off the 80s this week and get into the 90s. Well, I'm going to be away for a week, so I might not be doing much in 2 weeks. But yeah, I'm definitely going to get 88 and 89 done this week. I'm working on 88 as we speak. So,
Well,
but what did you think of my top? What did you think of my top? What do you think of my top 3 from 87?
It was good. I wouldn't. Remind me what you did.
So
I know.
3,
So
I had.
you had a Guns N' Roses song #1. I was
3,
shocked
I
by
had.
that.
So 3 was Nothing's
Hey,
Gonna
don't ruin it
Stop
for
Us
me.
Now.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Okay.
I haven't seen it yet. I want to be surprised. But,
Okay, then we won't
but
give
you
it
can-
to you.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll earmuff it.
I was shocked you did have It's Raining Men. Me and Blake were both shocked.
Yeah, well, it's a great song. I don't know what can I tell you.
All right. Well, I guess
So yeah,
let's wrap it up then.
yeah, bring us home
All right. We'll see
to
you
play
guys
us out. Play us out.
I don't have anything to play out.
To play us out. What does that mean? To end the show? You know what that's
End
from?
show?
It's like when Bill O'Reilly when he snapped on Entertainment Tonight.
Right.
Remember
No, I
that?
remember- no.
Yeah, I remember that.
He's like, to play us out?
Yes.
What a fucking asshole.
And just remember,
man.
everybody, Bret the Hitman Hart